Welcome to the Benito Villamarin Stadium, home of Real Betis Balompie, located in the south of Seville. Inaugurated in 1929, it has undergone many changes, with the latest being in 2017 when the third tier of the stadium was completed, making it the fourth largest stadium in Spain with a seating capacity of 60,000. It is about to undergo further renovation in 2024. Real Betis is one of the most popular teams in Spain. However, it soon becomes clear that they are more than just a football club. As you enter the interactive museum, the first stop is the trophy cabinet, showcasing all the silverware that this legendary club has won over the years. Their proudest achievements are front and center, winning the La Liga title once and the Copa del Rey 3 times in 1977, 2005, and 2022. The iconic green and white striped jersey symbolizes the Andalusian flag, but few know it was actually inspired by Celtic, as one of the founders was a merchant who took a trip to Glasgow and was inspired by the famous hoops after attending a match. Real Betis Balompie was founded in 1907 when its founder split from rivals FC Sevilla after an internal disagreement. Balompie is the literal Spanish translation for football. They joined La Liga in 1932 and soon after won their one and only La Liga in 1934. In 1936, the Spanish Civil War would claim the lives of many Betis players and staff who fought for war. And when the fighting stopped and play resumed in 1940, they were relegated. They went down to the 3rd Division in 1947, only returning to the top flight in 1958. It was during these difficult times that the battle cry of "Man que pierda," which translates to "even when you lose," was born. This means they will support Betis no matter what, and has become an identity central to Beticos ever since. Better days soon returned with a maiden Copa del Rey in 1977, but the "Man que pierda" still lives on to this day. A nice tribute to World Cup winners and current squad members Guido Rodriguez and Germán Pizzella is a nice touch before you move on to the dressing rooms. Here you can see the spacious room where they get ready prior to their big match and take pictures in the player cubicles. Take a peek into the massage room with current boss and legendary manager Manuel Pellegrini looks over. Just imagine the excitement as you emerge from the players' tunnel to 60,700 spectators. Wow, what a view. Goal Sur stand is where the heart and soul of the Betis fans come to life, providing an unforgettable atmosphere during every match. The defining feature is the mural of a player in the green and white of Betis, mid-shout with his arms raised in celebration. This image captures the intense emotion of Beticos and the deep connection between the club and its fans. The stadium is set to undergo massive renovations in 2024 until 2026, providing the modernization of the stadium and enhancing the experience of the spectators. The renovations will also focus on sustainability, drastically reducing the carbon footprint of the stadium. Seating capacity will be increased with an additional 6,000 seats being added. So tour 1 done. The passion, you felt it from the supporters. It seemed like everyone there was from Sevilla. Maybe there was a couple travelers. The amount of passion these people had just to go to a stadium tour, that they've probably been to the stadium a few times at least, and everyone was really excited, passionate. The whole entire family's wearing Betis gear. Really interesting. I learned a lot of good history. Really cool tour. Beticos show an unwavering commitment to their team that goes beyond 90 minutes, evident through the various supporters clubs scattered through the city. The Peña Cultural Bética Puerta de la Carne is one of them, which also happens to be a famous restaurant. Opened in the 1950s, it has evolved into a cultural hub for fans of Betis. Inside, you can find an array of Betis memorabilia adorned on its walls. The restaurant itself has also gained a reputation for serving up some of the best traditional Andalusian cuisine in Sevilla. Real Betis fans are not just supporters of a football club, they are ambassadors of the city of Seville. And what better way to do that through delicious tapas? On our way to Stadium 2 of the day. Only 5 kilometers away is the home of Sevilla FC, located in the upscale neighbourhood of Nervion. Outside the stadium, they proudly display their impressive history of European championships over the last 15 years. The stadium was named after late President Ramon Sanchez Pizjuan, who was the president of the club from 1946 until his untimely death in 1956. In 1982, the Sanchez Pizjuan mosaic was created and has become an icon not just for the club, but for all the city. It is a symbol of Spanish football, and above all, the symbol of friendship and brotherhood in the world of sport, with various crests from around the world displayed on here. The stadium is completely self-guided, and the download of an app as an audio guide is a nice touch. Sevilla FC was established in 1890 with the help of Scotsmen living in Spain and is Spain's oldest sporting club solely devoted to football. They've had several homes over the years, El Prado being their first stadium in 1907, moving to Los Remedios 5 years later, and then finally to Nervion in 1928. The club then moved again to Ramon Sanchez Pizjuan in 1958, which is their current home stadium. This stadium has received a major renovation before the 1982 Football World Cup. As you move through the vast marble hallways, this gives an impression of a club that's steeped in history. Sevilla FC has won a range of domestic competitions throughout their history, but they have only won the Liga once, in the 1945-46 season. They've also won 5 Copa del Reys, most recently in 2010. 2006-2007 boasted their best ever squad, making history by winning the Copa del Rey, Spanish and UEFA Super Cups, and the UEFA Cup itself. Led by manager Juan de Ramos, they dominated with stars like Dani Alves, Adriano, and Luis Fabiano. The Super Cup was a triumph over Champions League winning Barcelona, further cementing their status as a top team in Spain. It's often forgotten that Maradona donned the Sevilla kit in 92-93. A tribute to George Best commemorates his individual performance in a 3-0 loss against Spain at the Pizjuan in 1980. Their most recent European triumph is displayed proudly here as they beat Roma 2-1 in Budapest in the 2023 final. This is the latest achievement in a stunning period of dominance where they have won 7 Europa Leagues in the last 17 editions. Here they are all proudly on display. They pay homage to all their final victories, showing the jerseys that the rivals were wearing and the locations of each of the finals. Beat some top clubs in the Europa League finals, Inter, Benfica, Liverpool, and here they just keep having more trophies from ancient times, back when trophies were a little bit nicer looking. In the presidential hall, homage is paid to each of Sevilla's 28 presidents in its 128-year history, the first being Edward Johnson, a Scotsman, but the most famous is Ramon Sanchez Pizjuan, who the stadium is named after. Over 2 tenures and 17 years as president, they won the Copa del Rey twice and purchased the land on which the stadium stands on today. No tour would be complete without heading over to the presidential seating, where presidents, dignitaries, and VIPs look on to watch Sevilla FC. A nice touch is lyrics to chants written along the top of the stadium. A fun fact is that the Spanish national team has never lost at the Pizjuan, winning 20 games and tying 5. As you continue the tour, you go to the press room, where players and staff talk to the media before and after the games. A nice touch is that you can take a picture and Photoshop it alongside your favorite players. The sacred sanctuary of the change room comes next. Everything starts here is the phrase that greets you as you walk into this spacious room. You can't help but imagine all the pre-game speeches and after-match celebrations that occurred here en route to their 7 Europa League triumphs. The only jersey hanging is that of Sergio Ramos, who made his triumphant return this past offseason. You can't help but feel the anticipation as you walk through the players' tunnel. So here we have it, spectacular, beautiful Andalusian day. Tour is fantastic, to be honest, very, very well put together. Tour is done. That was fantastic. We got a few trinkets at the shop. It's in a much ritzier part of the city. You got a nice fancy mall behind me here. And you can tell it's quite a bit more bougie. Over here, marble floors, many different rooms, grand halls, versus the Betis, which is much more humble and seems to be a lot more about the people. And you can sort of see that just in the stadium tours. Obviously, Betis is more working class historically. All in all, both great fan bases. I would love to come back here to watch a couple games. I was supposed to come to a Sevilla game, but my flight got delayed, so I missed out. But we'll definitely be back in Sevilla, and I'm sure they'll be back winning some more Europa Leagues and maybe a Champions League one day. Sevilla, class football city. I would give this tour about an 8.5 out of 10. It was a little colder because it was self-guided. There was a nice app as an audio guide that I was able to use, but there wasn't that personal presence versus the Betis seemed much more passionate, a little more interpersonal, and you could feel the emotion of the fans. I actually just saw a Betis fan when he saw me with my bag, and he asked me, he's like, "What are you doing? We have 2 world champions on our team, Argentina. How could you buy something from Sevilla?" Betis seemed to be much more passionate. The tour was a bit more interpersonal. You felt the pride there. Now it's time to come back to a game for both of them and judge it by atmosphere. Until then, vamos.